Today I'm going to be making chicken bone broth. And I like to make this for my husband and I because it's a really nutrient-dense liquid, and you basically make it with using animal bones, acidic ingredients, various herbs and spices basically, and it helps enhance the flavor and it ups the nutritional value. It's highly customizable, so if you don't obviously necessarily care for one thing, just try another one. I know we used turkey bones with our chicken bones before, but my husband didn't really care for that way, so. But you can try all sorts of bones, like you can even try duck bones. So it's highly customizable. Just do what works and for you. We just use this for, and these are just frozen chicken carcass and bones. And you want to make sure that you have plenty of it. And after you add your chicken bones, we're going to also put some chicken feet in here because they're high in collagen. And this will also help contribute to giving a nice gelatinous chicken broth. You know, I remember when I was a little freaked out at first to touch these or whatnot because it just seemed a little odd. But obviously now I've gotten used to it. I've made this over and over. You know, it's different from what I was used to. Next, we're going to take our organic celery, and I'm going to actually use the celery leaves in here just to help enhance some of the flavoring to it. And we're just going to put that in there as well. And you know, you can use them as additional herbs. So, and now we got some organic carrots, and I'm also going to use some of the leaves and the stems to this as well. It kind of is similar to like the parsley flavor, but you can use these so that way nothing goes to waste. Obviously we're not going to put all of them in there, but we want to use a few of them. They have a very strong smell to them. Go ahead and rinse these off. I'm just going to put that in there. And you can obviously use this celery, or you can use these carrot leaves, and you can make a pesto, you can put it in your salads. Like there's different uses for them. And they're very nutritious as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and take some parsley, and this is Italian parsley. And we're going to add some parsley to our broth as well. Just add some carrots. And we're just going to throw in some cloves of garlic. There's about 2 or 3. Just cut them in half, peel the skin. And we're adding that as well in there. Let's cut our red onion in half, and you can leave the skin on. Help give it some color. Give the broth some color. So. And this all should kind of shrink down a bit once it starts cooking. So, and now we're going to go ahead and add some purified water for our chicken broth. And we're just going to add this much water just until it comes to the top of the bones. Okay, so after you have finished adding your filtered water, we're going to go ahead and use some. You can use apple cider vinegar. There's red wine vinegar. There's lemon juice. And it's commonly used to help extract the minerals and the collagen. But yeah, this is one of our go-to drinks, my husband and I, for when we're not feeling good or feeling under the weather, you know. It's always nice to have a nice bone broth to drink. I'm going to add some bay leaves. And just maybe about a small handful or a small little, I don't know, tablespoon of peppercorns. Okay, and there you have it. And we're just going to basically slow cook this overnight. You can do it overnight, or you can, whenever you have the time basically, but we're going to slow cook this basically about 7 to 8 hours is usually what works for us. And we're just going to cook, slow cook this on low for about 8 hours. Okay, so now that the bone broth has done cooking, has been 8 hours, we let this cool for about a couple hours, about maybe 2. Now we're going to take our skimmer and we're going to skim just the top surface of it to kind of get some of the scum or whatever that may be on top. It shouldn't be too much, but if any at all. Just trying to make sure. Okay. And now we're going to take some of our ingredients out of here. If you have like a little strainer or so, you can put that there. I want to get the broth liquid out. Now you obviously don't have to do it this way. You can just kind of scoop it out with the ladle, but I find it helps a little bit in getting it out. So that way you can get the juice. And there's all your bones and everything that we used. And now just take your strainer and we're just gonna put it in our other glass bowl. You can catch the little pieces. Go ahead and just pour the rest of this in here. And I'm just gonna put that back in there. Now obviously you don't have to take your bones out. I just kind of find that a little bit easier of a time to dump it. So that way we can get all the little tidbits and things so you can just get the clear liquid. But yeah, we're just going to put that back in here. And we're going to fill this up again with water. And we're going to get a second cook out of this. And we're just going to put the lid back on here. And we're going to go ahead and slow cook this for 8 hours on low. And this is our second cook. Okay, and it should be cooking overnight. Okay, and now we're going to just place plastic wrap over this. And I'm going to place this in the fridge and let this cool overnight. And as this cools, it should turn gelatinous. So we're going to place this in the fridge overnight. Okay, so the broth is all cooled. And as you see, we let this cool down in the fridge and it gelatinized in the fridge for about 8 hours. So, and now we're going to go ahead and take our broth and we're going to put this in quart jars. These are wide mouth. You don't want to fill them up all the way if you plan on freezing it, which that's what we usually do, is freeze ours. You're not going to fill them up all the way. So that way you'll have, and leave some headspace so that way it'll have room to expand. Because if it doesn't have room to expand, there's a good possibility that your jars will crack and break in the freezer. But you can store this and use this broth immediately. I'd say probably within some days. And you might notice like a little bit of a fat layer on top. That's okay. I just usually just scrape that off. We're gonna go ahead and take our little mason jar funnel that we have here. And we're gonna go ahead and dig in. And you see, it's nice and gelatinous. And we're just gonna fill that about 3/4 full. And this is the first cook. of your broth. And I always like to label it the first cook, because we do a first one and we do a second one. And after I filled it, if you like have any air bubbles, depending how thick yours may have got, you can always just kind of get some of that bubbles out if you may need. You might not need to, but I try. Sometimes I've had a few little bubbles and I just like to kind of get them out. There we go. It's about filled, and you leave a little bit of head space just so it has enough room to expand in the freezer if it does do so. Screw this on, and we're going to go ahead and do that for the remainder of our jars. Okay, and so we have we're done filling our jars. We got 4 lovely full-size quart jars. We're going to put these in the freezer, label it. We have this little bit of extra, so we're just going to use this for later, drink it. We're going to heat it up on the stove. That's what we usually do. When you want one from the freezer, just take it out and let it thaw, put it in on your stove and heat it up, and you'll have a nice, wonderful, nutritious broth. Oh, and make sure that you use any leftover amount or any amount that you're not going to be freezing within a day or 2. Okay, so got my label maker. We actually got this from Walmart. What was it like? How much was it, sweetheart? Yeah, it was about $25. It's a really nice little gadget. It's handy. But I like to label this just first cook sea broth. Short for chicken. And I just go ahead and I print the labels, and we just, pretty much place them on top of here. Label it something like that, or wherever you would like to call it, with the date of when you made it. I just put it on top of the lid. And it's good to go. Just going to do the same process for the second cook. Skim if there's anything that you need to skim off the top. I'm just going to get this out of here because it makes it way more easier, in my opinion, to get your broth out. I'm just going to dump it in here and catch the little pieces and tidbits. We're going to cover this and put this in the fridge. And this will be our second cook. And put this in the fridge, let it cool. Okay, so now that the second cook chicken bone broth is done cooling, and like we said, it's not going to obviously be as gelatinous as the first, but you can just go ahead and scoop off that layer of the fat. And we're just going to go ahead and scoop this in. And you're just going to leave a little bit of head space. And do the same as the first. Go ahead and freeze it, and there you go. And take it out when you're ready. You unthaw it, and go ahead and put it on the stove and use it for whatever that you are making, or just to drink it. I know we like to drink ours a lot, just for the health benefits that's added into it. So there you go. And that's the recipe that we use for our chicken bone broth. And we just want to share some scripture with you before you go. And we are in Luke chapter 10, verse 27. And it says, he answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." We just want to encourage you and remind you to love one another. Help those in need. When you do so, you're doing it for Christ. And we can serve Christ by serving others. Okay, so everyone, have a blessed week.